I never meant to change the film. Honestly, I only came to watch it fall apart. I was drawn to the beautiful, inevitable entropy of a project collapsing under its own ambition. A remake of a cult classic, funded by people who didn't understand the original. It was a perfect storm, and I had a front row seat. Los Angeles in late autumn, when the Santa Ana winds carried the scent of dust and disillusionment. The production offices had peeling paint, and the air was thick with the hum of old hard drives and the bitter aroma of coffee going cold. Every surface was a testament to the struggle. Scripts stained with takeout grease, storyboards pinned and repinned until the corkboard crumbled. I was there to observe, to take notes for my thesis on authorship and narrative meaning. My theory was that a story finds its own shape, regardless of the director's intent. That the mistakes, the accidents, the moments of exhaustion, they aren't flaws, they are the narrative asserting itself. But I didn't know that watching could become making, that my silence could become structure. I thought I was outside the system, a ghost in the machine. I was wrong. The set was a converted warehouse in Echo Park, all exposed brick and borrowed lights that cast long, dancing shadows. The space felt temporary, borrowed, like the film itself. I sat against the back wall, pen in hand, watching the crew reset the same scene for the 7th, then the 8th, then the 9th time. A single, 4-second sequence of movement. The gap between what was imagined and what was possible grew wider with every take. Nobody looked at me. I was furniture, academic, irrelevant to the work, a silent observer cataloging their failure for a paper no one on set would ever read. I preferred it that way. Anonymity was my methodology. It allowed me to see the patterns they were too close to notice. It allowed me to see the film that was trying to be born from the wreckage. I started noticing the gaps early. It wasn't in the big moments, the choreographed action or the key monologues. It was in the spaces between. What the script said and what the actors did, they didn't match. There was a subtle, persistent dissonance, a ghost in the machine of the performance, a kind of emotional static that no one else seemed to be tuning into. Small things at first. A pause that lasted 2 beats too long, turning contemplation into a void. A glance meant to convey suspicion that landed with simple fatigue. The script called for a character to clench their fist in anger, but the actor's hand would remain limp, a quiet rebellion against the text. These weren't mistakes. They felt like corrections, unconscious edits happening in real time. On day 9, the screenwriter left. There had been whispers for days, hushed arguments over pages where she'd scrawled "feeling over image" in the margins. No shouting, no final dramatic scene. Just a quiet conversation by the loading dock, the fog from the hazer machine clinging to them, and then she was gone. She left behind a story that was already rewriting itself. The director tried to hold it together, calling for more takes, pushing for precision. But you could see the structure starting to collapse. The actors grew more exhausted, their performances more frayed, and the gaps I was tracking became chasms. The film was losing its own plot. I marked them all in my notebook with small arrows, charting the drift. I was mapping a different film, the one being made in the silences and the missteps. These weren't errors. They were connections the film didn't know it was making, a sub-narrative of pure feeling. I tried to explain it once. During a late-night lunch break, I mentioned to the assistant director that the emotional logic wasn't in the dialogue anymore. I showed her my notes, the arrows connecting a dropped line in one scene to an exhausted sigh in another. She nodded politely, her eyes already scanning the call sheet for the next setup, and walked away. I understood. I was the grad student with theories, an observer cataloging a breakdown she was paid to prevent. My patterns were just noise to them. The editor found me 2 weeks later. She'd been struggling with the assembly cut. I hesitated. They were observations, not solutions. But I handed her the notebook anyway. She read for 20 minutes without speaking. Then she asked me to sit with her in the editing room. I pointed to moments in my notes, a reaction shot that lasted half a second longer than planned. We started building a different architecture, quieter, more honest. I never touched the keyboard, never made a cut myself. I just watched and pointed. The director came in for review sessions and saw changes that worked but didn't know where they came from. The premiere was held in a small, almost forgotten theater in Silver Lake, the kind with worn velvet seats and the faint, sweet smell of old film stock. I found a seat in the very back row, a deliberate choice. It was the observer's perch, the place I had occupied throughout this entire process. From here, I could see everything, yet remain unseen. The room was filled with a low murmur of anticipation, the kind of industry crowd that analyzes more than it feels. I wondered if they would see what I saw. The lights went down, and a hush fell over the room, thick and absolute. Then the film began. Not the one that was planned, but the one we'd found inside the wreckage of the original. The version born from failure, salvaged from the digital ghosts of corrupted files and abandoned takes. On screen, the familiar scenes played out, but they were haunted by the memory of their own collapse. I didn't watch the screen. I watched the audience watch it. I saw the subtle shift in posture as they leaned forward during the silences we'd protected, the moments of negative space that I had argued were the film's true heart. Their stillness was a form of listening. I saw their eyes widen, their breath catch, reacting to moments that were never in the script. These weren't crafted plot points. They were artifacts of exhaustion, of an actor's genuine frustration, of a camera that lingered a second too long. They were the patterns I had found in the noise. When it ended, the silence held for a beat longer than was comfortable, before breaking into applause. The director stood for questions, accepting praise for the film's brave, deconstructed form. My name was nowhere on the credits, and in that moment, I realized I didn't need it to be. My contribution wasn't written on a call sheet or a final credit roll. It was written in the structure of the film itself, in the rhythm of its breathing. This was authorship too. Quiet, invisible, essential. I had watched the film into existence, and now, here in the dark, I was watching people receive it, their focused attention becoming the final, crucial component. They were completing the circuit. The work isn't always about making something new. Sometimes it's about seeing what's already there. I am a researcher. I am a creator. I am the person in the corner of the room who changed everything, simply by paying attention.